welcome to another episode of Coffee with April. We have been out traveling. We have a lot of things going on here in general. We're sitting here drinking just roasted, way too fresh coffee that we might be talking about as well. The idea with this one is just to kind of give you guys a recap and update. What are we doing at the moment? What can you expect for the last kind of few months? We've just been in Seattle, visiting the Coffee Expo. Joe, what did we do in Seattle?
Well, we got a couple of things. First of all, we were at the event, not all of the time, but we got to see some really nice things. Got to catch up with some friends and meet some new people as well.
Yeah,
it's a very different, or should I say, a larger scene than we're perhaps used to in the Nordic countries.
Sure.
A lot of people, a lot of businesses,
Yep.
a lot of producers as well. It's an accessible event, so a lot of people out there. Yeah, real nice.
So it's if you guys ever want to go to a coffee event, then buy a flight ticket and go to Seattle, because it's a lot of good content and it feels a bit more relevant than a lot of the European events, I think, even though it's way too expensive. Someone should fix that, just saying. But we were there because we were hanging out with Loring. We like hanging out with Loring. They launched their new Nighthawk tiny little Loring machine, which was interesting, alongside their Roast Architect as well, which is their new kind of software, which is pretty cool. So we were there hanging out with them, brewing coffee, meeting people. And we spent a few hours up in this tiny little city up north of Seattle called Everett. What did we do there?
So we visited a client of ours and a friend, Maxwell, at Narrative Coffee. So Narrative Coffee is actually just under a year old, opened in June last year.
Yeah.
And it's a really incredible place.
It truly is. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we joined on the bar for a few hours, the morning coffee service from about 8 o'clock, brewing our filter coffees, doing some V60s for them. Actually working with their recipe, which was rare.
Which was rare, and the reason why we say that it's rare is that a lot of the times when we go out and do these kind of pop-ups, which we really like to do, sometimes the coffee is tasting in a way that we don't necessarily like to brew it, even if it's tasty. So we always update and tweak. But at this point, it was like everything just tasted really good. We have a theory that the water is amazing.
The water is amazing.
Looking at the surrounding nature, that may actually be very true.
Yeah, you've got mountains on both sides. It's a really incredible place for sure.
Definitely. Anyhow, a really cool coffee shop. On my personal top 5 list of best coffee shops in the world, let's just say that. You should go there if you're ever in Seattle.
For sure,
it's totally worth it.
It's really accessible. It's not a problem.
50 minutes drive, straight up, pretty easy. And delicious coffee.
For sure. Yeah.
So that was Seattle. Seattle was always fun, but there's a few things that are happening back here in Copenhagen as well. We're launching a few interesting projects. We're launching a few interesting coffees. One of them is a coffee that we're drinking right now. Again, don't drink fresh roasted coffee. Wait at least 7 days from roast. At least when it comes to our coffees. With other coffees, do whatever you want. But what are we drinking here, Joe?
So this is a Colombian tabby from Victor Barrera. It's from the Palestina region. Really interesting coffee. It's the first tabby we've worked with, I believe.
It is.
Yeah,
it is
for sure.
And we only have a few boxes, so they're practically going to be sold before you guys even see this.
Great, nice and functional. I mean, it's a really complex coffee. The acidity structure is truly, really interesting. Yeah. It's going to be really fun to send this out for as long as it lasts. At least.
Definitely. It's a great cup, juicy, sweet, kind of berry-like. Also, this kind of traditional chocolatey nougat Colombian thing going on. A Nordic approach product should be said as well. A coffee made famous by Kopi, we should say as well, because that's kind of true. And used it, I believe, if I'm correct, she used a tabby competing in the Swedish when she won.
Possible, yeah.
I might be wrong, but I could also be right. Either way, it's a great coffee. We will see a lot of roasters having it. We only bought a few boxes, so our version of it is very limited. But there's definitely a coffee worth kind of looking out for. Yeah. The second origin that we're going to start roasting next week, which is really exciting, is a first ever, both for me personally, for Joe personally as well.
For sure, yeah.
And for April as well. We're gonna start roasting a Tanzanian coffee. Why do we roast a Tanzanian coffee? Well, to be honest, we tried a coffee from Congo. It went out in our membership club. That was a pretty amazing coffee. Very interesting. And we're looking at neighboring terroirs and areas to Rwanda, Burundi, and then you find Congo, you find Tanzania, and so on and so on. Areas that are not far away from some very famous farms. They're just not in the same country. But if you look at the landscape, they're actually very close. So we're really excited. It's also in season, which is important for us. Working on that seasonality. We're gonna expect some really kind of intense berry notes, floral notes, chamomile. This is a very kind of tea-like character, but should be a really cool coffee. Will be available as both filter and espresso, which is gonna be very interesting to see how that comes out.
If anyone would like to take us to around the areas of Lake Kivu, you're more than welcome. It seems like there's some pretty interesting coffee around there.
I think we had this discussion the last few weeks, right? Whereas, I feel sometimes that we're thinking countries, and we look at borders and we think that, coffee that grows here in this country cannot be good. But if we look at the actual area and the real distance, is very, very close. So, for example, the Ugandan coffee that Ruben Scardelli roasted, competed in Brewers last year. The Austrian guy placed third, I believe, or fourth. Anyhow, that coffee grows like 600 meters from a Kenyan coffee that we work with. It just happens to be on the opposite side of the same mountain, right? So it's important here not to, focus too much on different countries, but also actually looking at the terroir in the area. Because a lot of countries in Africa has the potential of producing really good coffees. So that's why we end up in Tanzania. Last project, maybe the most exciting project. We tried last year, didn't work. It tasted horrible. We basically threw it out. This year, we're trying again. We're launching a cold brew. Which is exciting.
It's gonna be a canned cold brew. Pretty exciting. We've got it all set up and ready. It's actually gonna be a carbonated cold brew, which we're actually really excited about. I'm gonna try to push that nice high carbonation. And you want to say a little bit about the coffee?
Well, we're working with the Kenyan coffee because Kenyan coffees always taste the best. That's how we like it. It's from the Kirinyaga region, a process station called Ki, a selection called AA, pretty classic SL28, SL34. We actually brewed that same coffee in Seattle.
We did.
It tasted pretty amazing.
So brewing that up on the lawing stand, it was definitely a hit for sure.
It was definitely very good. And we did our kind of cold brew roast, which we will do an episode on later on, I think, because that's a category in itself. It's one of those things like, why do a cold brew? Well, we do it because cold brew doesn't taste good. Let's be honest. I tried a bunch of canned cold brew in London during the London Festival. We tried it now in Seattle, not mentioning any brand names. But there's two things you recognize very quickly. First of all, one, there's very few cold brews that doesn't have any kind of additives, right? Whether it's like sugarcane or lemon or ginger. I tried some really weird stuff in London that it's not necessarily not tasty, but it doesn't taste like coffee. So we're launching a cold brew. It will taste like coffee. It's actually pretty delicious. And we'll go live in just a few weeks. We're gonna have another talk about that.
For sure, we'll do a follow-up for maybe each of the things we've been talking about today, for sure.
For sure, definitely.
Just a nice little summary.
A nice little summary so you guys know what we're up to. And thank you guys for watching. As always, share, comment, and we will have a lot more to say about this in the future.
For sure, it's good.
Thank you guys.